jump in. Game number 2 on Sky Temple. The draft has started and Kiev6 apparently had enough of that Kiev6. On the last map, he was definitely one of the problems they had to face here. They had a very interesting draft though with Sergeant Hammer that they played and also Morales. Morales actually with the Stim Drone giving Hammer an insane damage output and great heals there from Lunan as well. Kiev6 being banned out first, so mYinsanity could actually look at the Tyrande ban and that's what they're doing. They ban out Tyrande, eliminate her. Kiev6 could either go for ETC or Uther to deny the combo to mYinsanity. There's very few other heroes that would be really worth picking first, I suppose. I mean, you could go for a Muradin, I guess. You could also, if you really value her highly enough, go for a Jaina in this case. But Falstad is the hero of their choosing. That's one of the things that is pretty typical to your European scene, by the way. I'm currently casting a lot of North America tournaments and even some Chinese tournaments, and Falstad is very much neglected on both servers. You every now and then see a Falstad being played, but the focus that you see for Falstad on the European scene is much, much higher. mYinsanity now, they have an opportunity to go for Stitches, sorry, not Stitches, but for ETC, of course, together with an Uther. It's an opportunity that you have, but you don't really have to take it. There's other great picks that you can go for at this point. Muradin would be one of them. You can combo a Muradin with a Sonya. You can combo him with a Jaina. So you can also just like play Uther and Muradin, for example, if you don't really want to rely on the ETC mosh pit here. But you definitely have a couple of options. And what I really liked so far is that mYinsanity has been reacting with that draft very nicely to what Kiev6 was doing. That Stitches pick in the last game was absolutely ingenious. It was a great pick to make sure that Hammer was never in a position where she could relax and just get that slow push in. Sonya, maybe with an Uther, maybe with a Tacita here. Nice commitment by mYinsanity. Not really what we expected here, but still a very nice start into the draft. If you feel that Sonya is going to give you enough aggression, then she's definitely worth an early pick. And oftentimes you try to support her with either Tacita or Uther. Both of the heroes would be quite nice for mYinsanity now. Of course, if you don't take Uther, then your opponent has the chance to go into ETC Uther. And mYinsanity actually dodges the question quite nicely. They're saying, why would we decide in favor of one of the two? We're just going to get ETC, and we don't really believe that Kiev6 is going to drop an Uther and a Tacita right now, so we might get one of the two after all. I like that actually quite a bit. It's an interesting start. Normally you don't see teams neglecting the top supports in the beginning of the draft or damage dealers, but right now we have a Sonya taken and an ETC, and that's actually a pretty smart start into the draft considering how we saw the bans happening. Has now Muradin for Kiev6, a pretty smart pick. He would have been banned out by mYinsanity, so that's already good. And now they can go into a Tacita, into an Uther. They could drop a Jaina here. Could see something completely different, but that's definitely like very good options that they have when it comes to that. And it depends at this point, in my opinion, highly on how much they value Jaina in such a setup. They played her in the last game, but they go for Kharazim instead. Now, that is really interesting. They choose a Kharazim, so they will ban out Uther, but they prefer Kharazim over an Uther in their own composition. Now, that I find very, very interesting to see, because that could mean that we're having a heavy melee focus on the side of Kiev6. Oftentimes you play Kharazim if you... I guess you could go for a 7-sided strike if you don't want to use the Divine Palm. Maybe they are toying around with the idea of playing a Team Liquid style with the damage build, but I doubt that a bit. So that is an interesting choice. Most of the teams would have just simply gone for an Uther here, but they go for Kharazim, and I find that very interesting. A Zagara ban here on the side of mYinsanity, it's fair enough. They had a few chances to ban out heroes, could have banned something completely different here. It's a preference thing on their side, but now we should see that Uther ban for Kiev6. I would be a bit shocked to not see Uther banned out now. Because, well, they pick Kharazim, and what else can you ban? I guess you can ban a Tacita if you don't want to ban Uther. Are they really going to let Uther through? With a Divine Shield for ETC and or Sonya? Wow, they are running down that time pool. Not what I thought would happen here. Like, the drafts that we saw in this series have been very interesting, but there is that Uther ban. Okay, I would have been shocked to not see Uther banned out. I really think that this was a must ban. That Divine Shield on ETC or Sonya is just too good to let it through. mYinsanity, they need heals. They need also, of course, some range damage, which they do not have at this point. They could go into a Sylvanas, a Vala, a Reyna, Very good choices here for them, all three of them. Depends highly on how you want to play those fights, and then you have to make a choice there. If they, they start with the Tacita for the Sonya support. Wouldn't really play it solo at this point. We could see a Brightwing in addition to what they currently have. Try to use those blink heals. Have, of course, also the high mobility on the map, which helps them to counteract the experience Soak of Falstad a bit. Brightwing might be one of the possible heroes that they're going for. But for now, it's actually Jaina that they commit to first. All right. Interesting. No range damage dealer with auto attacks. And the Vikings plus Sylvanas. Kiev6. I mean, I really love these guys because they always have something different for us. And they are playing a draft that is very reminiscent of what they usually play on Infernal Shrines. The Brightwing, as expected, as the additional healer for mYinsanity. That was kind of what we thought would happen here. But I really like that they're playing... they're playing the Vikings here. Kiev6, they usually have Hydra on the Vikings, and he is quite strong on those. If it's going to work out on Sky Temple, that's a different question, though. So, guys, we're going to jump into game number 2 to find out if Kiev6 can tie the series or if mYinsanity is going to take this best of 3 with a 2-0 here at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by Twitch and G2A. All right. Fun draft. Right, difficult to predict anything here. I like that. Teams experimenting with not new heroes, but old school heroes on known maps, let's say. So, yeah. And I guess we're gonna find out what's going to happen next once that we have everybody in lobby. So, we could see... this is definitely a where the Vikings have to play kind of nice. The Vikings have to do a lot of work for them if they want to work that out properly. But that could definitely work. Here. So, oops. Didn't want to hit that. Okay, that's looking a little bit better now. Okay, let's see. I have too many tabs. Seriously, there's so much happening every time that we have one of these streams, and I'm just like sitting there, I'm just like trying to find the tab that I need at this point in time. Which I kind of did right now, but yeah. So, we have the game, I guess, about to start. We are not AI hasn't really started the actual hero lobby yet. We are currently in, how do you call that? The pre-lobby? I don't know, like the custom game creation, the settings. Well, we have everybody now in play, but we don't have the hero select yet. That should happen in a few seconds right now. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of fun. So, let's see. We have currently nothing happening. We're just waiting. Everybody's here. And everybody's just waiting for AI to just like say, alright guys, let's go. Let's drop our heroes and start with things. But yeah. Is there a hidden camera somewhere that is making fun of the caster? How exactly is that working out right now? AI seems to be AFK. We have well, Sky Temple as map number 2. There's very little else to say. We're just waiting for this to happen now. But yeah, that being said, I like the Vikings here on the map. I feel like we have a pretty good setup for Kiev6, but it impressed me how mYinsanity played the last map. That was actually extremely well done. Do I have some issues here? Doesn't seem like that. Alright, let me actually double check something. I have to help out Happy Circ for a second. Alright, there we go. Alrighty. Are we finally in the hero select? No, we're not. Oh, he said 2 minutes, please. Okay, so he was asking for a break. Alright, I didn't see that in chat, so apparently he was just like asking for a second. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that. I was wondering what's going on here, but apparently like he needed to go to the bathroom or something, like I don't really know. But yeah, so we have today Mobsil subbing in for them, and there we go. Okay, hero select has started, so that should bring us into the game now any second. And yeah. Okay, so everybody's so far ready, and yeah, good to go. I love the Falstad here. A little bit sad that we don't see Morales again. It was fun to see her. It's actually kind of nice that a lot of teams, at least in the European scene, are focusing a bit more on Morales. And to be fair, it's when Cloud9 also played Morales just recently, which was pretty awesome in the Chinese league, so that was pretty cool. And yeah. So we have most of the guys are ready. Everybody, that is. Those Sylvanas skins are just nice. I really like those. Sylvanas is pretty nice. That music really reminds me of like Lord of the Rings. Let's face it, the last Hobbit movie was just shit, wasn't it? It was total garbage. Like the last one, God, that was so bad. I mean, what were they thinking? Like, they split one book into 3 movies, and then they are surprised that they run out of content in the 3rd one. They're like, we need to come up with ways to stretch the stories. Let's invent stupid storylines that nobody cares about and that have nothing to do with the original plot. Yes, what a great idea. Horrible movie. But it doesn't matter. Music is over, and we're going to go into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, on a Sky Temple between mYinsanity and Kiev6-1. So let's check out who's going to take it here. Game on! Sky Temple is the map, the second map in the best of 3 series here at the Heroes Battle Arena. And to the left side of the map we have Kiev6 once again with AR on Falstad, Ice Cream on the Viking, on Sylvanas, sorry. Hydra is playing the Vikings, and we have Lunan on Karazhan with Mopsio on Muradin. To the right side of the map, it's Blumby on ETC for mYinsanity. We have Nomi on Tacita, Darkmok on Sonya, ADRD on Jaina, and Brightwing, played by Wooby. mYinsanity is the old Spartanian squad, formerly known as Alternate Fancy, and of course they're playing today with also a few substitute players. People were already asking why exactly ADRD is currently playing with them. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the European scene right now, in case that you haven't noticed. We saw Dignitas now without ADRD. He was subbing in a DreamHack already for TCM and is now playing here for mYinsanity today. So at this point, we're having up at the top lane the attempted pressure play against the tower. It's very popular if you're playing Sylvanas that you just select the tower on one of the lanes and try to burst that down early on. Didn't really work out the way that they intended here for Team Kiev6, but they have with the Vikings now very decent soak, and they're already trying to put that to some use at the bot lane, where we have Olaf and also Eric trying to contest Wooby there a bit. Oh, nice Stormbolt. Didn't really want to hit Jaina, but well, she got in the way, and she got what she deserved, I guess. Mopsio and AR already being moved back, and therefore the Watchtower vision now in the hands of mYinsanity. That's a pretty well done. Currently, as we're seeing in the mid lane, it's Falstad. It's actually interesting to see Falstad now in the middle. With the Vikings in play, they're just having the Vikings soaking middle and bottom, and everybody else is up at the top. Normally, of course, we would see Falstad up at the top lane, up at the bot lane, trying to soak the experience there. But Kiev6 has a very solid setup here, and they go for Blumby, and they get the kill. Blumby down. Then again, we have Darkmok, who is currently... Oh, good heals here from Lunan, keeping AR alive, and Mopsio jumps out. But yeah, Darkmok with the Sonya and the support from Nomi on Tacita was able to really push them back and drop those hit points low. We have, in terms of talents, the Viking Bribery taken on level 1. Let's see if he also commits to the Mercenary Lord talent on level 4 for the Viking play. We have Seasoned Marksman for Falstad. Pretty much everything else is much more standard from what you would expect. Currently up to the top, yep, there's Mopsio jumping out, since he's a bit in trouble. Mid lane has been completely taken by Tacita thus far. AR barrel rolling out of the way of the Blizzard. And again, the fight up for the Temple to the top, with the Vikings soaking every single lane, but not really dropping a significant lead in experience into the hands of Kiev6. They actually lost one of the Vikings at this point, and that means that at the bot lane there is nobody to soak. Wooby was able to take down Eric, apparently. And over here, it looks like they might also lose Muradin, and yes, they do. mYinsanity with a place. Darkmok, on the other hand, he dies. So Sonya is dead, was taken out. Yeah, Hydra with Olaf is just rushing away in the last second. And it's still the soaks that we are seeing here for mYinsanity. Great play on them so far. We have double neck guitar and rolling like a stone for ETC. He didn't go into any of these talents with the prog rock potentially that would lead into groupies on 13. For now, we just have them with a utility. We are seeing the Mercenary Lord on level 4. We have Venom now also taken as the second talent for Sylvanas. And in the mid lane, the pressure for the next temple, which is currently taken by mYinsanity. Nomi has to be careful, but so far he's doing a decent job loading those shields up. He will most likely go on level 7 and also for the Kala's Embrace. Well, I guess he has some options with Brightwing in play here. Doesn't really have to. Would be pretty nice for Sonya, though, to have the extra shields going into a fight. The experience that we see from Hydra delivered to the team is now starting to come into play. Not only are they not behind, but they're actually a little bit ahead in experience. And considering that they lost 2.25 heroes and also a lot of these temple shots, that's actually pretty significant. Peekaboo as the level 4 talent for Brightwing is going to help with the vision, especially on the Vikings that are trying to hide in those bushes. For now, Hydra is trying to help out with the Mercenary Lord, and that's already a buff camp right there. And somebody has to rotate down here to help out. Level 7 talents now for both of the teams. Secret weapon after power throw for Falstad. We're seeing also a very interesting build on the side of Mirrodin, who went on level 1 into the Infused Hammer for the mana refund. Not really a common build. And then for the Piercing Bolt, but still stuck it out with the Thunderburn on level 4. That's definitely new. Haven't really seen something like that in a long time. Already the Storm Bolt hit. That gives Mopsio a bit more sustain on lane, so he's not going to run into mana problems anytime soon. Up to the top lane, there was in dire need of a bit of D-push, and Olaf apparently was not really comfortable going up against the Bruiser camp like this, so he asked for help, and Falstad flew over to the top and is now making this work. As the level 7 talent, we still see Kala's Embrace on Tassadar. As mentioned before, he had a few options of what he could have gone for here with that additional healer of Brightwing up at the top, but they decided to go for the full support, especially for Sonya. We also see the Composite Spear as Balog dies at the bot lane, the increased range of the Ancient Spear. Now, that is a very interesting choice that we're currently seeing here. It's pretty cool to see that no ferocious healing, and I guess that's exactly where those two healers come into play. As I just said, Tassadar did have other options, but they went into the level 7 talent and the level 4 talent for the shields, regardless of Brightwing being in the same team. And that allows now Sonya to drop ferocious healing and instead go for the Composite Spear to have that additional range. So that's pretty cool and will help with the Mystical Spear on level 13, which kind of has to be the talent right now that he's going to go for, right? Up at the top lane, Hydra is pushing that additional camp. The Mercenary Lord talent really coming through here for him. Level 10, a bit faster for the for Kiev6. They already have the spot up there on the bot lane. They're going to drop this fort here for sure. The top lane pressure. Wooby can't do anything against this. I mean, there's two Vikings, and they have also that additional buff for the Bruiser camp, so that's an easy structure. Yeah, well, there comes Darkmonk now. He moves in. He wants to have Hydra on Balog, but Bloomby is starting to rotate in. Jaina is down, and up here, the Viking is also going to fall down to the bot lane. That's where Jaina was eliminated. Olaf at the top lane is now also dead, so two of the Vikings are down, but it's still a level lead that we're seeing for Kiev6. They're really running the Vikings quite well here. Heroic abilities now for both of the teams, with Mighty Gust, Wailing Arrow, Longbow, Divine Palm, and Avatar chosen on the side of Kiev6. And when we're talking about mYinsanity, then we have the Blink Heal, Wrath of the Berserker, we have the Force Wall, Mosh Pit, and no real choice yet on the side of, I suppose... Oh, there's the Ring of Frost. Alright. Ring of Frost has been committed to. So yeah, pretty fun game thus far. Lunan is a bit far out at the wrong side, and he's in trouble. ETC with a mosh pit, and Falstad is taken down. It looks like Lunan might die here too. He used the Divine Palm, but they waited out and drop him. Nice double kill here, and they're not stopping there. So Ice Cream is also eliminated, and Mopsio is now under so much pressure. He's going to try and jump away, but Darkmock is already on the way and is going to try to drop Mopsio, but he realizes that this is not going to happen. I really like the way that they're playing this right now. When it comes to the fights, mYinsanity is doing a much better job, but they're really having some trouble with those Vikings pushing the lanes with the mercenary camps. They're attempting to go now for the boss. Not quite sure if that was the smartest choice, with Ea being around on Falstad for Mighty Gust. There's very little that they can use to interrupt him properly. But Darkmock puts pressure on him now. They jump in, and a very nice attempt to polymorph him for now. The problem is that Wooby for that had to extend very far, and he is dead, and without a healer, there's absolutely no way. This is a nicely stolen boss here. Kiev5 is taking it, saying thank you, and take it away, and that is very, very bad now for mYinsanity. That is really bad, especially since Darkmog is now dying as well. So that's suddenly a double kill out of nowhere against mYinsanity, plus a boss. And that's a nightmare for mYinsanity right now. They were in a really good spot, but they kind of threw it at this point. They were a bit behind in experience because of Vikings, but in general, they were actually doing a very solid... they were running a very solid game here. Very tight ship in the way that they were controlling these fights, but right now they have the pressure against them at the bot lane, and with the Sylvanas pushing together with a boss, we all know what that means. The Vikings are still in the mid lane, dropping another fort, and one of them is already up at the top. Level 13 talents are ready for them too. This is where the snowball starts, and this is not looking pretty at all. I mean, Hydra is already starting to claim some of those shots up at the top lane, so things could actually not look much worse for them at this point. Bot lane is also taken. There we see Muradin doing exactly that. We have at the same time now also another rotation towards all of these camps. They're not really taken yet, but this is really, really getting tricky. I mean, this is a really, really tough spot for mYinsanity to be in right now, and it's actually something that they have to blame themselves for. They had a very good shot at getting a lead here, and now they are the ones falling behind. Maybe if they can win a fight here. It's pre-13 though for them, and they really need that extra talent. There it is, finally. Jump and Relentless on the side of the Vikings and Charism. We have also finally Giant Killer for Falstad, but here now come the 13 talents with the Pixie Dust for Brightwing, going for Shield Dust here. Prescience taking After a Shock instead of the Spear talent. Now I really assumed that with the level 7 talent Composite Spear we would see the Mystical Spear here, but instead it's the, well, it's reduction on the Fury cost. That's a very interesting talent to take here. Normally you're not running into too much trouble as a Sonya these days in those fights. It's not really the talent that I expected here. Level 16 is, by the way, now also ready for Kiev5, and they are playing an amazing game right now. They are really using that momentum that they've been able to build up and try to get even farther ahead by taking down the keeps now, and they move in as we speak. And of course there's a bit of resistance that we're seeing from mYinsanity, but they are still 3 levels in the talent behind, and that is not really going to help them. Brightwing is eating a lot of damage here. So we have 10 minutes in and the second keep might fall. The Vikings are already in the longboat going for a bit of a cruise here. But they can still like rotate around and soak experience again. But it's a massive lead for them. I mean, they can just like take the camps on the map and go for a fight. Uh-oh, Falstad needs to be careful. Divine Palm is helping, gets triggered by the Blizzard, and Falstad moves out. Good Mighty Gust interrupting that quick mosh pit that we saw from Blumby. And they go in again! Tacita is low. Nomi about to die, but it's Brightwing who dies first. Looks like Muradin is still able to escape here. Mopsy was very, very close to dying, but is able to get out of there. As we have the rest now moving into the mid lane, and with a 5 versus 4 situation, and that Sylvanas in their midst, it looks very likely that we're going to see, oh my god, we see Sonya die too. It's not only going to be the key that dies, they can actually go for the keep in the mid lane and then move up to the top lane to drop another one as well. A 3-level lead. They are in amazing position to end that game very, very soon. They go for Jaina, they drop her now too. This is a disaster. They could go core. They should at least go keep. Darkmog is pausing the game and is unpausing it immediately. Probably a bit of a misclick there on his part, or he just realized that it doesn't really matter anymore. This game, I mean, I'm not one for calling games early, especially not in Heroes of the Storm, but let's just face it, this game is over. The only way how mYinsanity can win this game is if Kiev5 decides to go for a smoke break. That's the only way. I mean, if there's a massive disconnect, or if they are just going for a smoke and come back in 5 minutes, then there's a chance that by then we have them on even levels again. But the only thing that they really need right now is this temple. That's all that they need, and they will win the game. And it's 18 versus 15. There's no level 16 talent. mYinsanity is going to be forced to fight here, and they are going to get destroyed, especially with these guys still pushing over here. I mean, that alone is already a massive amount of damage. The core is losing hit points as we speak, and here comes the battle. Most of the heroic abilities are already low. There's the silence. Down goes ETC, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the tie in the series. No way, Sergey. This is over. Nomi might survive, he might not, doesn't matter anymore. 3 heroes down, Nomi is going to die too. It's a quad kill, and down here the mercenaries are already finishing this off. This is going to be the tie in the series, and we have mYinsanity defeated on Sky Temple and Kiev5 taking the map. Ja,